What's going on, everyone? How are you guys doing? It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It is March 31st, 2021, and tonight it is time for another one of those sweet AEW Dynamite post shows. How are you guys doing? Let me know down in the chat how your day was, and also let me know what you guys thought about tonight's show. I thought that tonight's show was pretty good. Couple of surprise returns here at the end that I certainly was not expecting to see. That is for sure. I thought that Trent was out for much longer than this. So it was great. NXT was great tonight as well. If I do say so, I thought it was pretty great. The NXT episode is the go home episode for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Next week is the final night of the Wednesday Night Wars. It's all over. After next week, we'll never have to do it again. We'll be free. We'll be free of everything. It'll be so great. Anyways, James, how are you doing? Philip, good to see you as well. Marcio, Hoodie, how are you doing? R Dials, hello, how are you doing, my friend? Nate, the great Alex, Flash, my fellow disciple, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Marcel, how are you? OB James, Chloe is here as well. Says, I finished cleaning the streaming set, broke a computer, but everything is fine. Oh no. Don't break the computers. Don't break the computers. Basili, how are you doing as well, my friend? Leroy is here. Elver is here. Anthony is here as well. How are you guys doing? How is everyone doing? And like I said, let me know what you guys thought about the show. If you're here and you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Hit the like button as well if you haven't already, because it helps me so much. Memberships are open as well if you want to support the channel. And of course, super chats are open as well, but none of it is required. I am just happy that you guys are here to hang out. Happy everyone is here to hang out. And like I said, one more week, guys. One more week. And then it's done. It's done. It's over. It's over. We can watch NXT in peace on Tuesdays. And we can watch AEW Dynamite in peace on Wednesdays. It was great. It was great. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Evan says, all-time great Dynamite show, AOW. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought that tonight's show was fantastic from start to finish, if I'm being honest. I thought it was great. I loved it too. It'll be interesting to see how well it does next week. Marcel says, Dynamite was one of the best shows ever. I liked it too. Yes. Anthony says, can you say let me in with the Vince voice? Sure, I got you, bro.
Let me in.
There you go. That's for you. That is for you, man. Philip says, Nexus picture leave on the screen. Sure, if you do not spam at the end of the night, chat will vote, and if they decide, we will give Philip his Nexus picture. You weren't here on Monday night at the end of the show. We were waiting for you. We were waiting around. Mauricio says Tony Khan did say it would be an all-time great episode last night on Impact. Doesn't he always say that, though? Doesn't he always say that it's going to be a great night? I mean, he wasn't lying. I thought that tonight's show was pretty great. And next week is pretty good as well. Next week, we got another six-man match. We have Jon Moxley teaming up with the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, taking on the AEW World Champion and the AAA World Champion, whatever the hell it's called, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers next week. Also, we have the Bunny taking on Ty Conti. Should be a good one. Darby Allin is defending his TNT Championship against JD Drake. The reason behind this match is that Darby had an open contract challenge match or something of the sorts, and JD Drake was the first one to sign. So here you go. Darby Allin versus JD Drake for the TNT Championship next week. Also, the Inner Circle returns after the ass whooping that they laid down on Pinnacle tonight. Holy hell. And finally, we have Jurassic Express taking on Bear Country. And man, that image is beautiful. The match card for that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see here. Elver says they should do Walter versus Daniel Bryan at this year's Survivor Series. Man, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. I saw first says, good evening, AEW. Came in late. What did I miss? Nothing, my friend. Nothing. We just got started here. Just got started. Haven't really talked about anything other than enjoying both shows. But he says MJF getting his head dipped in the toilet was too funny. Yeah, I was not expecting them to do that. I was not expecting to see that at all. And also, man, if you look, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they beat the hell out of Dax. That was crazy. Man's had blood gushing all over his head. I'm sure that probably looked kind of like fake blood to me, but I don't know. You guys can be you guys can decide on that, but looked amazing, man. All of that was incredible. I was not expecting to see something like that tonight. I'm also totally down for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to be some sort of tag team. I'm totally down for that. I like it. I like it a lot. James says Impact is moving to Thursdays next week, which extends Death Week to another week. But I reckon you probably aren't going to review Impact anyways. Nope, probably not. At least not right now. Basili says, I said this in the comments. Darby Allin and Sting teaming up with the Dark Order to take on Lance Archer. Big Money Matt Stable, shut up and take my money. Sure, I'm down for that as well. Jaden says, Hacker Man is here. Hello, AOW. How you doing, my friend? Evan Wright says Ethan Page plus Scorpio Sky equals ego trip. That's what I'm calling him. I like it. I really liked the promo that they gave as well, with the half of their face being in the shadows, half of their face being lit, and they're just going back and forth talking and all of that, and then you see both of them, and then bam, shuts off the lights. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. I see that a lot of people were like, oh, another random tag team. But like, let's be honest here. Every single tag team in existence almost is random at some point, right? There was a day that Triple H and Shawn Michaels was a weird team. There's a day that Farouk and Bradshaw were a weird team. The New Age Outlaws were a weird team. There's a lot of weird teams. But eventually they come to fruition, you know? And it's not like they're being thrown in some like World Tag Team Championship match or something like that. They're forming tag teams. Forming tag teams. That's what they're all about. They love tag teams over at AEW, and I can't complain about it. It's better to have too many tag teams than not enough tag teams. You know what I'm saying? You can always have your tag teams work singles matches, but having your single stars wrestle as tag teams doesn't always work that well. Ardell says, what's your opinion of the Best Friends new theme song? I like it. It fits Orange Cassidy perfect. Absolutely perfect. Punk says, bro, Mania 37 is canceled in Tampa. Man, it's not even April yet. It's only 7/27. Evan says, bro, when Chris Statlander popped out of the crane machine, I jumped out of my seat. Yes, I was not expecting to see Chris Statlander tonight. So happy about that. Very happy to see Trent as well. And most of all, Trent's mom. It's always a good day in AEW when Trent's mom makes an appearance. I love that stuff, man. I love it. Mauricio says Miro versus Sue in a car catastrophe match next week. Book it, Con. There you go, man. And also tonight is the first L for Miro in AEW. It is his first loss, and you know what? I bet you he's not going to be very happy about it. I bet you he's not going to be very happy about taking that L when he is searching for gold. I think someone's going to have a little bit of trouble on their hands. Miro didn't want this match. Kip Sabian wanted this match, forced him into having this match. It's not looking good for Kip Sabian. It's not looking good for Kip Sabian. Miro is going to kill him. He's going to kill him, and he's so small. Like, we saw Miro launch Orange Cassidy like the length of the ring on the outside. That was so cool. Mr. Rose says the ending shot of Dynamite with the Pixies playing was amazing. I loved it. Yep. the thumbs up to Sue and the thumbs up back, and Chris Statlander joining them in the ring. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. James, let me see, my friend. Let me see what you said. Let me see. He said Impact is moving to Thursdays next week, which extends. I did read that already. I read that. Yeah, but yeah, I don't plan on watching Impact just yet. Speaking of Impact, there's people saying that they had like their lowest rating show of all time yesterday, and I don't quite know if it's true or not. I haven't seen anyone clarify it, but someone said they got 35,000 viewers, which is crazy because I think they usually get like 100 and something thousand. So that has to be a mistake. We'll find out, because if they dropped to like 30 something, that would be brutal. Like that's crazy insane. Flash has Mox and Bucks connection. Yeah, I am waiting. I am waiting for them to turn on Mox. I think it's gonna happen. I think it is gonna happen. Let's see here. Evan says Chuck Taylor is the plunder match machine. He doesn't miss in these matches. I know, right? It's crazy. It is crazy. You know, like one of my favorite AEW matches still was the street fight between Santana and Ortiz and Best Friends. Like, I loved that match. It was so good. So good. Evan also says 30K was the 18 to 49 demo number, which is usually the same they usually get. Okay. So that's where the confusion was. Okay. I was like, dude, there is no way. Like, what would have to happen for you to have 119,000 watchers one week and then like 32 the next? Like, oh, good Lord. So, okay, I see where that confusion came in. Warrior says, at least he didn't get pinned. He looked like a beast throughout the match. Took on Best Friends 3 versus 1. Yeah, I have no problems with Miro taking an L tonight. He looked incredible. He's been booked. The story's been off and on at times. This match certainly delivered. I hope it is the last one overall, but Miro looked great. He looked great. He's going to be an unstoppable force in AEW at some point. It's just there's only so many titles. And I see like tons of people I've seen a couple people already say that Ethan Page is being wasted already because they're throwing him in a tag team with someone else. Like, these people can't just come in and win the TNT championship or win the AEW World Championship. Like, there's only a few of them to go around in AEW. They're pretty packed at the moment. Their roster is getting pretty large for just this one show. So yeah, the people got to do other things. They got to do other things. It just makes sense. And I think Miro's been in a good spot. He's been looking dominant. He's stacking up the wins, man. Stacking up the wins. Punk says, who win between QT Marshall and Cody? So the match, supposedly it wasn't even a match in the first place. It was an exhibition or something like that. Whatever that is supposed to mean. Cody was playing with him the whole time, and QT Marshall got pissed off, and he punched Arn Anderson, who was the special guest referee, enforcer, whatever the hell it was for that match. So when he punched him, he just kind of walked out of the ring, and then all hell broke loose afterwards. Punk says, for AEW, every faction is fine. Originally, the title for the show tonight was Every Faction is Fine, but I changed it. And now I kind of want to change it again because I wasn't expecting to see Sue on my TV. James says, bro, I can't get the AJ Styles TNA theme song out of my head. You are, I am. I heard that the other day when Xavier Woods was playing it on Raw. Flash says, could you please say the Undisputed Era, Nightmare Family, and Team Taz are just fine? Yeah, they're just fine. They're, there's nothing wrong with the Undisputed Era, the Nightmare Family, or Team Taz. They're all doing fantastic. They're all doing great, It's all good. I mean, did you see that beautiful package, that video package that they showed of Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole just best friends, man? I posted some pics of it. They're just best bros. Best friends for life, you know what I mean? Warrior says AEW doesn't have multiple brands and titles. They can only do so much with what they have, especially when they already have stuff planned out, like Hangman and Omega down the line. Yeah, and we already know that Omega's going to have a lengthy reign as well, considering that he's going to win the Impact Championship, and hopefully that... Oh, man. Maybe we could talk about this as well. That god-awful new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship that New Japan unleashed on the world on Tuesday. Oh. It literally looks like Cody's neck tattoo with a strap around it. Come on. Like, they took one of the, like, two of the best looking titles in the world of professional wrestling and turned it into the Divas Championship or Cody's neck tattoo, whatever it is that you want to. Well, I'll call it the CNT Divas Championship. That's what I'll call it. Like, come on. Come on, New Japan. It looks so silly. It looks so silly. Like, I saw an older design of a New Japan title that kind of looked like a crown or, you know, something like that. So maybe it's supposed to resemble that or something and be more old school, but it does not translate. It does not look good at all. Does not look good in my opinion. I hate it. I hate it. Kota Ibushi standing there with both belts. Like, you see this picture of him standing there with both belts. It looks incredible. And then you have him standing there with one belt that looks like he bought it from Toys R Us. Like, come on, man. Come on. Punk says today's show is the go home show for Stand and Deliver. Yes, it is. So next week's episode of NXT is night 1 of Stand and Deliver. Then the following night is night 2 of Stand and Deliver. And then Friday is SmackDown. So next week is going to be very, very busy. And next week, unfortunately, we will not be having an AEW Dynamite post show. Nope. I'm sorry. It's the first time we won't be having one. But it is the first time that we will be having an NXT post show. Pretty crazy. So next week's post show on Wednesday will be NXT TakeOver themed, but of course we will still talk about Dynamite as well. They got a pretty stacked show over there, so I certainly don't want to miss that one, but you got to cover NXT TakeOver. Got to cover TakeOver. The more interesting thing for next week, though, is will NXT TakeOver be able to beat AEW Dynamite? I hope that they do for the sake of them. It would be pretty shitty if they don't manage to do that. So yes, and that also means that next week's episode of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown are the go home episodes before WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday. Rocco says Ivelisse might be released. Supposedly she sent out like tweets about her booking, but there's reports of her having heat and being hard to work with. You don't say. You don't say. Let me look for Ivelisse here. Let's see. Real Ivelisse. 4 hours, keep pushing. 6 hours, she's at the beach. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything on here on Twitter. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, unfortunately. Wouldn't be surprised. Leroy says F in the chat for the people that can't watch night 1 of TakeOver Stand and Deliver because they don't have cable. Yeah, well, we'll be here. We will be here, and I will be covering that show. Oh, man, I'm going to have to cover TakeOver predominantly next week as well over AEW, so I'm going to have to focus on that show next week. Warrior says, imagine that. Next week are the go-home shows to WrestleMania, and I feel absolutely no hype. I know, man. It's crazy, isn't it? It's... I can't believe, like, it really does not feel like WrestleMania season. Not at all. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver match card. I will tell you what the match cards are for Stand and Deliver here in 2 seconds. Let me figure it out here. Okay, so night 1. So this one will be on Wednesday. This will air on USA Network, just like the show did today. We have the NXT Women's Championship match, Io Shirai taking on Raquel Gonzalez. We have the NXT United Kingdom Championship, Walter taking on Tommaso Ciampa. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a really, really, really good match. We have the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships being decided here against MSK and Grizzled Young. Oh, this is a triple threat. I didn't know that. MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma. Whoever wins will become the NXT Tag Team Champions, since Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch had to vacate them due to an injury. Next up, we have the gauntlet match for the NXT North American Championship. Oh, no, this is a shot. So, okay. This is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen in my life. Okay. So NXT had a battle royal tonight, and with like 12 people or something like that in it, 11 people or something like that. And the last 6 participants left standing in that battle royal match would be added to a gauntlet eliminator match next week. So once they are down to the 6 participants, so let's say oh my God, this is ridiculous to describe. So the 6th person gets thrown out. That means that they enter the gauntlet match first. The 5th person that gets eliminated enters second, and so on and so forth. The person that won, which ended up being LA Knight, lols at that name, he will enter the gauntlet match last. The person that he beat, which was Cameron Grimes, I believe, right? Was it Cameron? No, it was not Cameron Grimes. Who was it? He beat Dexter Lumis. Okay, so Dexter Lumis will enter second to last. So the order here is going to be, let's see here. Leon Ruff, Swerve, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and LA Knight. Whew. Okay. Jesus. Okay. So the winner of this next gauntlet match will head to night 2, and they will take on Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. Whew. Okay. That was a lot. The following night, on Thursday, this will be on Peacock only, I believe, right? This is on Peacock only. We have Finn Balor defending his NXT Championship against Karrion Kross. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match. The NXT North American Championship, Johnny Gargano versus whoever wins the Gauntlet Eliminator tournament from the night before. And then we also have to crown the actual NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Is it Santos Escobar or is it Jordan Devlin? This will be decided in a ladder match. Crazy. Very solid card. Very, very solid card from NXT here. I was worried about it being 2 nights, but I think that they're going to pull it together. I think they're going to pull it together just fine. I think this is a stacked show. And if I'm being completely honest, NXT TakeOver looks way better than WrestleMania. Way better than WrestleMania. Rocco says the Gauntlet stuff was the most filler thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal when you have to like think so hard to describe it, and you have to have people standing in the middle of the ring like trying to talk it over for the past 2 weeks. Flash says WrestleMania hype 26%, TakeOver hype over 9,000. Yes. NXT TakeOvers are always super good. Like they're always really good. Leroy says, what match will main event night 1? So the main event for night 1 will be Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. And then the main event for night 2 is Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. So, of course, we will have predictions videos for all of these and yada, yada, yada. Whew. It's going to be a crazy week, man. Crazy week. Let's see here. Rocco says, I don't think night 1 looks that good, in my opinion. Still a bit better than Dynamite. Night 2 looks really good. Man, Tommaso Ciampa versus Walters, I think that's going to be a big deal. I think that's going to be a really big deal. That's a huge match. I could see Dynamite starting off pretty strong because of the Gauntlet match and the NXT Tag Team Championship match. But that NXT UK Championship match with Walter and Tommaso Ciampa, that's going to be a big one. Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez will probably be a big one too. So pretty stacked if you ask me. James says, if Monday title says no hype for WrestleMania, it should be the Why Vince Why edition and have John Cena making an angry face as the thumbnail. That would describe those feelings. It is 100% going to be called no hype for WrestleMania. That is what the Monday episode post show is going to be, and the Friday post show episode as well. Let's see here. Leroy says, I just realized that next week will be the first time in over a year that the NXT Tag Team Championships will be on the line at a takeover. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I'm not very good at keeping statistics and stuff like that. I would like to be, though. I would like to be. You know, like, I watch people like Quizlemania and stuff like that, and I watched, I believe it was Sean Ross Sapp. It was a couple episodes ago. It was Sean Ross Sapp and Tempest, I believe. They were literally able to name all of the IWGP Intercontinental Champions in reverse chronological order all the way back to its inception. There's no way that I could ever do that. I could never do something like that. I couldn't even tell you who the last 3 or 4 Intercontinental Champions have been in WWE. Like my... I can't remember stuff like that. It's crazy. I saw it first says, do you believe Andrade when he said he was making $3 million a year with WWE? So he did another like media tour yesterday or something like that. And he clarified that he was not making $3 million a year. He was just saying that he was turning down a lot of money, I guess. So I guess he misspoke or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he said in the second one. Flash says Ciampa versus Walter will steal the night. Cole and O'Reilly will steal night too. Yeah. Yep. I'm totally with you on that one. Flash. Totally with you on that. Alex says Friday should be no hype for WrestleMania -1 match. Yeah, I'm excited for Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. I think that match will be really good. I do. And I think that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair will be really good as well. But I'm not feeling it. Like the story's not there. I've watched Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks lose week after week to Big. And it's just like, it hasn't resonated. It hasn't connected in WrestleMania season. We should have seen Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair being like strong, dominant competitors right now. But instead, they've just been looking at the lights. All for Big, and I don't quite understand why they're pushing Big so much. It just doesn't make sense. Ryan says, I knew that QT Marshall was going to turn heel. Yeah, I mean, I guess it made a lot of sense why they had Arn as the special guest enforcer and all of that stuff. The funny little head turn at the end was great. Where he just looked back. That was good. Rocco says, I don't really watch NXT, so I don't really know if Raquel is like a serious threat. That's why I don't know. I didn't know if it was that big, and I didn't know Ciampa versus Walter was a UK title match. Yeah, I mean, I think that Ciampa versus Walter, even without a strap on the line, would be huge. But yeah, Raquel and Io Shirai will be pretty good. I'm sure it'll be great. I just don't like that they lost the women's tag team championships in like an hour and a half. That could have totally been avoided. And it's especially weird when like she's going on to face Io Shirai at Stand and Deliver. Like I would have to think that they had that planned more in advance than than then. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, you could have had, I don't know, just never, they should have never given them the titles, period. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. Mauricio says, I hope that they give Jeff Hardy a match at WrestleMania, since he said he was saving no more words for fans. If not, I'm going to be pissed. I mean, who would Jeff Hardy face? He's not really doing anything, is he? He lost to someone, but I can't remember who it was. I cannot remember who it was. Punk says, but one time Drew said when he makes their return, he opens the show. Yeah, I did see that he wants to open the show. And I think that Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley should open the show. I really do. Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley have incredible entrances. I would say that both men are kind of on top of the world at the moment. So let Drew McIntyre open up the show. He enters first, of course, because challengers enter the match first. Champions enter the match last. That's how it goes. So Drew McIntyre opening up. He's got his panties on. He's got his kilt on. He's got a sword. He's shoving it into the stage, just fire popping everywhere. Hell yeah. That's incredible, right? Then next up, you have Super Saiyan Bobby Lashley coming out here with the lightning and all that badass stuff that he has. That's how you open up the show, man. That is how you open up the show. This year's first match, like, I know that they always say that the first match is just as important as the main event, right? You have to set the tone. But this year's, the first match for WrestleMania is in like its own category. WWE has not had fans in attendance for like over a year now. So this is going to be the first time back. The first time. This match has to be crazy. It has to be a main event caliber match, which Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley obviously is. So I don't know. I feel like it's pretty easy. Rocco says, I already forgot that the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships existed. Who has them? Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions currently. Anthony says, AEW, hear me out. Ciampa and Triple H have a kind of the same look and the same finisher. Yeah, I would say that they look somewhat similar. Alex says, are we getting 2 blood and guts matches? Pinnacle versus Inner Circle and Nightmare Factory versus Nightmare Family? That'd be cool. I'd be down to see that, but I don't know if they would have 2 blood and guts. I don't know if they'd have 2 blood and gut matches. You know, maybe we'll see like Cody and Dustin taking on QT Marshall and whatever the guy's name is. I can't remember. Oh God, I can't remember. I'm not even gonna be able to find it. The boxing guy, the guy that punched Cody. Maybe it'll be like a tag match. Maybe it'll be a trios. You have Cody, Dustin, and Lee Johnson. Maybe. I think that'll work. I don't know. Chloe says, Jeff Hardy versus Elias, the final chapter. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Safa says, did you know we are getting Kushida versus Pete Dunne on TakeOver Night 1? I did not know that. And that would be a fantastic addition. That would be a fantastic. Holy hell. Okay, so. Whoo. Dax did not have fake blood on him. That was real. Yikes. He got a big old gash in his head and they've stitched it up. Whoo. Damn, that blood looked fake as hell. That's crazy. That is crazy. Victor says, did you see Andrade's kicks with his mask on them? I did not. No, I did not. Let me see. Andrade. I'm so happy that he's getting like all that love and attention from everyone. That's so cool. Everyone wants him to go work there. I don't see it on his Instagram. Is it on his Twitter? Andrade. I don't see them on here either, at least. No, I don't see him on here either. Obi James says, who are the guys in Marshall's faction? That's a good question. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I cannot remember them. Rocco says Anthony Gogu is his name or something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Let's scroll down here. Yeah, welcome back, Chris Statlander, Legos, Orange Cassidy, Ty Conti, why Real Marshall, why John Moxley's ready for a fight. No, I don't think so. I don't know. It's not on here. At least AEW didn't post like their names or anything, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it anywhere, so well, I'll have to give it to you guys later. Mauricio coming in clutch. It's Aaron Solo, Nick Camarado, and Anthony Agogo. There you go. Aaron Solo was Bailey's fiance as well, I believe. Pretty interesting. Let's see here. Rocco says Kurt Angle is being teased to return to the Indies for Mania weekend by the Collective. Crazy. I saw that. I think Fightful posted it. I was gonna post it earlier today, but I totally forgot to screen cap it and go back. Someone posted that Kurt Angle wanted to have one more go as world champion, and that he wanted to have American Alpha by his side. Man, that crushed me. That crushed my soul, man. That would have been so good. So good. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Pretty sure it was Fightful, but yep, Kurt Angle wanted a WWE World Championship run with American Alpha by his side. Kurt Angle reveals when okay, hold on. He said, the night of the Hall of Fame, right before I went out to accept the award, Vince McMahon came into my locker room, the room they had set up for me backstage, and he said, hey, we want you to be general manager of Raw starting tomorrow. He offered me a deal, and I said, well, I still want to wrestle. We'll get around to that eventually. Don't worry about that. We'll get there. I said, okay, as long as I know I'm going to wrestle. So I got the offer right before the Hall of Fame. The next Monday, I started the general manager job. He says, well, I was excited because I wanted to pair up with Jason and Chad when they were tag team partners, and I wanted to wrestle, and I wanted to be the world champion and have them be the tag team champions, just like Team Angle, and I thought it made a lot of sense. They decided that I was going to have an illegitimate son, and they weren't sure who it was going to be, and they decided to pick Jason over Chad, and, you know, I'm not sure why. It might have been a politically correct move, but I was happy. I was excited about it because Jason is a great talent and he was improving every week. His chops were improving. His work was improving. He was getting a lot better. He was on his way to the main event status until he hurt his neck. That's where the program ended, and I was stuck high and dry without a partner for the next WrestleMania because that's who I was going to wrestle was Jason Jordan. Crazy. We would have seen Kurt Angle versus Jason Jordan at WrestleMania. That would have been great. Still think Chad Gable would have been perfect, but crazy nonetheless. Let's see here. Chloe says, I'm still mad at WWE for not letting Kurt manage Chad Gable. I know, man. It sucks. They would be so perfect together. Delight says, kind of surprised Miro didn't turn on Kip tonight. There wasn't really an opportunity after they lost the match, so it'll happen on Wednesday. I'm very sure it'll happen next week. I'm very sure it will. Safa says, who else has got Roderick Strong turning on Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver? Interesting. You know, it's kind of interesting that they haven't really done much else with Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. It's just been Adam and Kyle O'Reilly. Like, I get that they've had feuds before and stuff like that, but the Undisputed Era is 4 people, not 2. So, Adam Cole says, there is way more hype for Stand and Deliver than Mania. I wonder how many people will be there at Mania. 45,000 people each night is what they're aiming for, I believe. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. DNM says, if Regal can still go, I can imagine him versus Gargano. Gargano has been negative on him, even when Regal just made a match that does not involve him or any of the way. I don't know if Regal could go. I don't know about that. I love William Regal. I love William Regal, though. He's fantastic. His music is so good. One of my favorites of all time. It's so sinister. I love it. Mauricio says, I miss American Alpha. I don't know what is up with Jason Jordan, but if he comes back, they need to bring the team back together with Kurt Angle as a manager. I could certainly see them bringing them back together at some point. American Alpha would be much better than Chad Gable and Otis, like, any day. Supposedly, so he's been, from what I understand, since he's been injured, he's been a producer backstage for WWE or something along those lines. But he's trying to get cleared now, from what I understand. He's trying to wrestle again, so we'll see. I mean, God, we have Edge, Christian, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. Like, everyone is wrestling again, so it's really cool to see. Chloe says, after the match with Kyle, I hope Cole goes to SmackDown. He'll fit right in. I'm still really worried. You know, if the Andrade stuff that he was saying in his interview is true, that they didn't want Cole to go up against Drew McIntyre because he was too small, so they put Andrade in there. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have hope for Cole moving to Raw or SmackDown anymore. If he does go to Raw or SmackDown, if he does go to the main roster, I pray to God that it's SmackDown. He has the best opportunity there for sure. If it's Raw, man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Rocco says, I think they'll have Cole win and reform UE with Blake Christian, Alex Zane, and Strong. I think that O'Reilly is going to win. And I think Adam Cole will probably go to Raw or SmackDown. That's definitely what I can see happening. It makes sense. And if they can manage Cole on, let's say, SmackDown for a while, maybe a year. O'Reilly, Fish, Strong, they can continue to do their things in NXT. And then when the time comes, the band can get back together and they can just do the same thing that they've always done. Have them come in and attack someone and help out Adam Cole. The Undisputed Era is back again. I could definitely see that. Let's see here. Obi James says the video package of Cole and O'Reilly was better than anything on Raw. Yeah, for sure. Safa says they are doing the angle with Roderick that he is trying to leave Undisputed Era behind, but it keeps coming back and haunting him. Yeah, isn't Cole's contract expiring soon? I have no idea. Let's see. Adam Cole WWE contract. Cultaholic says report Adam Cole under contract with WWE until late 2024. Let's see. This is from Bleacher Report. They say NXT champion Adam Cole has well over 18 months left on his contract. That was in June 8th of 2020. So yeah, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Warrior says, don't understand that. It's not like it would have been only Cole fighting Drew. Could have been Drew having to fight off everyone in the Undisputed Era. Easy story to tell. Victor says it's on his IG story from yesterday. If not, I'll DM you it. Oh, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I never understand the stuff where like people are too small. Did they forget that Rey Mysterio was world champion before beating up Big Show and stuff like that? Like, come on. Come on now. Everything is not about size. You can have smaller people win when they're faster. Take out the legs. Do other things. Like, it. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating to see sometimes where they're just like, oh, this guy's too short. They can't do anything with us. Like, come on. Come on, man. Chloe says, since Murphy isn't doing anything, I want him and Blake to come back together. Their team was so good. I'm surprised they haven't thought of that yet either, or put that together. It makes so much sense. But maybe that's why. Delight says, knowing Vince's track record with former Bullet Club members, Cole's going to be mid-card at best on the main roster. I could see that. Delight says, didn't Ray's How to Reign suck though? I don't recall. I have no idea. But it can be done. And I mean, these people aren't as small as Rey Mysterio either. You know? They're not nearly as small as Rey Mysterio. These guys, Adam Cole is one of the best NXT champions of all time. How are you going to tell me he's too short to stand up to Drew McIntyre or something like that? Like, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Adam Cole is one of the best. So it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Chloe says, in the words of, I can't say that word because it doesn't exist. I have no idea what that is. It's prize over size. That's right. I saw first says, when are you kicking off your calling show AEW Underground? Well, I'm glad that you mentioned it because we're still waiting for that small super chat of $69 million. Whenever I get that super chat of $69 million, it'll be raining money. And we will be able to afford AEW Underground. And don't worry, like I said before, there will be Ric Flair as well. Woo! Ric Flair will be in the building. JVOJ, how are you doing, my friend? No worries, my friend. No worries. We're just here chatting. We haven't gotten into the show yet, but we will in just a minute. Anthony says not too much money. Yeah, it's not a lot. But it is 69 million US dollars. Need that to come through in a super chat here, and we can start AEW Underground with Ric Flair. Woo! Yes. And there will be no Bill Gold either. No. Mauricio says Vince loves big sweaty men. He prioritizes them first. Yeah. It is so true, man. So true. Obi James says, if they make Adam Cole a 24/7 champion, I may just quit. Oh, God. Man, I couldn't even imagine seeing that. I could not even imagine seeing something like that on my TV. Like even right now, I don't want to watch WWE, especially Raw. Like SmackDown, it's usually not the worst. That show is definitely carried by Roman Reigns and whatever he's doing, but Raw, man, I already don't want to watch Raw. So seeing Adam Cole chase around a 24/7 championship would probably be the thing to set me over the edge. Libra says, I heard that Titus O'Neil will be receiving the Warrior Award this year. Yeah, I heard that as well. Makes sense. It's in Tampa. I see all that. Delay says, I mean, look at what they did to EC3, right? The guy, like, I think I said this on Monday. We were talking about something similar. If I were to create a person in the vision of Vince McMahon about what he would want, I feel like EC3 would be his dream. Like, I feel like VCam literally dreams of dudes like EC3 at night. Just like, oh yeah, big muscly man. Like, oh, this guy's perfect. I need him. I want him. But then he has EC3, and maybe it's because he didn't like him because of TNA. Maybe he didn't like him because of his aunt or whatever the hell the thing was. Maybe he's not because he's not homegrown talent. I don't know what it is. They made this man a mute. Of all people in the world. And then you have him leave WWE, and look at all of the stuff that he's doing. Look at this control your narrative, control the narrative stuff. Look at all that. It's incredible. Oh, those shoes are cool, man. I see them. I'm looking at them. Those are cool. The La Sombra shoes. I need some. But yeah, he's absolutely killing it with this control your narrative stuff. And they had him as a mute on Raw. Guy couldn't talk. And he's putting on some of the best video packages I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy. Anthony says, breaking news. Xavier Woods said that Mark Calloway will be at WrestleMania. Is it? Oh God. Is it April now? Is it April 1st for some of you? Is that what's gonna go on? Jared says, you remember when Titus O'Neil was running in the ring and fell under it? Of course. I have that as my pinned tweet on Twitter. I will never forget Titus World Slide. Never. Rocco says, I'm still in shock AJ Styles was pushed like he was. I mean, AJ Styles is literally one of the best wrestlers in the entire history of wrestling. One of the greatest people to ever lace up a pair of boots. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, but I guess I am kind of surprised at the same time. But AJ Styles is so good. Flash says, but my friend, how EC3 dared to be successful in TNA and not in WWE? Shame on him. I know, right? Such a shame. Chloe says, rumor has it Jon Moxley is still looking for EC1 and 2. Oh, man. God. Alex says, did you see Cena's response to Shaq's question if he saw Shaq wrestling? I did. My fiance showed that to me, yeah. Leroy says, is it true that WWE offered the Briscoe brothers a contract? I have no clue, man. No clue, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they did. A lot of people want to see the Briscoes taking on a lot of people. So, but I mean, if you're a tag team, I would never go to WWE. There's no way. No way. Unless you just want the money. If you're interested in money, like if that's more important than everything else, then like by all means go to WWE, collect your ginormous checks, and just kind of do whatever kind of goofy shit they want you to do. I mean, good for you, man. Like if you can make $1 million a year or whatever it is, $500,000 a year, shit, take it, go for it. Mauricio says, I feel like the Inner Circle can be a good badass face faction like 2014 Shield. Could be. We'll see. Their presence tonight was felt, and that was good. It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Warrior says AJ came in and had one of the best first years like Kurt and Brock. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I'm so surprised. I love that moment too. Where you have like even Roman in the ring and he's like tired as hell. And there's like some random ass music playing. He's never heard it before. So he's like squinting to try to read what it says on the Titantron. I love that. I love that moment. You know, that reminds me, I need to bring back my, whatever that series was, the moments or picture before like greatest moments or whatever the hell it was. I loved that. That was a lot of fun. I'll have to do that again. Basili says, can we please dig a hole in the dirt and bury the 24/7 championship? That championship is worthless. And I was thinking about that earlier today. If I was a wrestler, no question. That and the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, throw those away too. Delight says, have you seen the new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship? Yes. I made fun of it on Twitter, Instagram, and at the beginning of the show today. Rocco says, what do you think is the ending to Mox versus Bullet Club feud? Because I don't think they're doing Mox versus Omega again. I don't know, to be honest. I'm kind of surprised to still see Mox hovering around in this Kenny Omega storyline. I have no idea where it goes. I think it might be kind of filler. And I think the story that's being told isn't between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. I think that the story is between the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. So I think that Jon Moxley's just in there as filler. And I think that maybe even next week, because that's next week, right? that match. I thought it would be for a bigger event, or I thought it would be later down the line. But if they're gonna have, sorry, let me go back to my thing here. If they're gonna do the Young Bucks and Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers next week, I could see them having a match. I could see probably Kenny or something, or I guess it doesn't matter who wins it. But the same kind of scenario that we saw today, where Kenny and the Good Brothers are either outside the ring or inside the ring with them. They're standing face to face, and then all of a sudden, super kick party right to the dome of Jon Moxley, and the Bucks will join them. That's what I'm expecting. That is what I'm expecting. Warrior says Y2AJ should have lasted longer. That's such a good name. Philip, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome back. Welcome back. We're about to get started on the show here. Matt says, when will we see Minoru Suzuki on Dynamite? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. This partnership has been a slow burn. I like it. I like how the doors open, but they're not overdoing it really. Except the Good Brothers, which is hilarious that they're just like, this is what they wanted. They wanted they wanted Good Brothers on Dynamite, and they got them. They got them. They did what they had to do to get them. It's funny. Rocco says, I think we'll get Eddie Kingston versus Omega at Dawn, or Mox and Kingston versus Good Brothers in a tag team death match or something. Mox and Kingston versus the Good Brothers would be cool. I'd be down for that. I don't really need to see Kingston and Omega in a pay-per-view match. I'd like to see that reserved for someone else, since Kingston has already got a shot. Back when Moxley was the champ, I'd like to see someone else step up, especially to Kenny. DNM says, if Darby Allin drops the TNT title to the right man to do it is MJF. Please, AEW, give him a title. World Heavyweight TNT Tag Team, give it to him, please. I could definitely see MJF as the TNT champion. Sure. There's a lot of like potential contenders for the TNT championship, though. It's really hard to figure out like how that will be booked and who will be next. I certainly didn't think that Matt Hardy would be the one challenging for the TNT championship next. It seems kind of odd, but Alex says, I would love a Jungle Boy Omega feud. I think, now that we're talking about the TNT championship, I think Jungle Boy would be an excellent TNT champion as well. But we're also going to have trios titles that are coming this year. Trios titles are on their way. And also the other show is on the way this year as well. So we have some things look forward to in AEW. Leroy says, who hasn't gotten a shot at the AEW World Championship? A lot of people. Chloe says, we need Matt Hardy, Grimes, Riddle, and Apollo Crews to help raise that $69 million for AEW Underground. Yes, we do. Yes. Delight says, the collector Kenny Omega is gonna get the IWGP World Heavyweight title. You can mark the words. I would expect to see that as well. Rocco says, I think Scorpio Sky will, and I thought Hardy vs Darby would be a next week, but if they want a bigger feud, Scorpio Sky is the next TNT champion. Is that what you're saying? I'd be down for that, but it looks like they're putting him in a tag team with Paige. Ethan Page, I guess, not to be confused with Hangman Adam Page. Jared says, what would you do if AEW would make a new title like the 24/7 championship? I would hate it, and I'd make fun of it all the time. It's stupid. Mauricio says, if they are still going with Christian to feud with Kenny, I can see a Christian, Mox, and Eddie Kingston versus Omega and the Young Bucks match on a future Dynamite. Sure. And I think that, I don't know, their minds may have been in different places when they originally did that, but they either read the room and realized that no one wanted to see Christian go up against Kenny Omega just yet and altered their plans, or they were smart enough to know that like they were just planting the seeds. So it looks like they've backtracked on that a little bit. I thought Christian looked great as well. We'll talk about that in just a minute here. Matt says, has Cage defending the FTW title yet? Has the Taz family done much? They feuded with Sting and Darby Allin for quite a while. Took a lot of L's there, but I don't think that the FTW title is like really recognized or anything. So I don't really know if it matters. James says Father Rollins and Big Money Matt will give you free oxygen for Death Week. What is Death Week? What is Death Week? I saw first says with no $69 million budget, can we get AEW Backyard Wrestling Slobber Knocker? Yeah, we might have to resort to that. We might have to resort to that. You know what? We might not have Ric Flair there. We might have to get the guy from Talking Shop-A-Mania. The bootleg Ric Flair guy. I can't remember his name. Maybe we'll have to get him for AEW Backyard Slobber Knocker. How's it going, Vanch? How you doing, my friend? Perfect timing. We're just about to get into the show tonight. Just about to get into it. So tonight's episode, actually, before we get into that, if you're here and you haven't already subscribed yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, please make sure to hit the like button as well. I would greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into the show. Let's get into the show. Tonight's AEW Dynamite kicked off with Christian returning to the ring to take on Frankie Kazarian. This is the first match that Christian has had in 7 years. Sorry, first singles match that Christian has had in 7 years. And he looks great. James says Death Week is wrestling for 9 days. Oh, I feel it. Okay, I get you. I see. I get it now. Leroy says, I am still willing to offer you $200 million to say that Humberto Carrillo is the GOAT. When it hits my super chat, I'll do it. $200 million. That's more than enough to fund AEW Underground. We could do like 3 or 4 different series of AEW Underground at that point. Alex says there is an Impact special the Saturday of Mania. Why do you schedule a show the same day as WrestleMania? They're crazy as hell. It's like a hardcore pay-per-view too, which is crazy. Like I don't get it. Warrior says Kaz was the perfect opponent for Christian. Oh god. The yawns have started. The yawns are here. Their chemistry is fantastic. Yeah, I thought that this match was great. This was a perfect way to kick off the show. And this was a really good match for Christian. He went almost 20 minutes against Frankie Kazarian. It was crazy. They almost went the time limit. Christian looks great. Yeah, he did look gassed quite a bit here and there. He was sweating like crazy, but overall, he exceeded my expectations. He did really good. He sold a lot of things. And, you know, I think that that's important when you have a match as well. Christian, yeah, he got the win. All eyes were essentially on Christian today, right? But Frankie Kazarian looked great. Frankie Kazarian looked very, very good tonight. He was very dominant over Christian for quite a while. Of course, Christian was able to get the upper hand in the end and get the win, but in my opinion, and I've said this a lot, but I'll say it again, and I'll say it anytime I see something like this on TV. This is the way that you create stars. This is the way that you elevate people. This is the way that you do it. Right here, this is a perfect example. Going 18 minutes or whatever it was with Christian is a fantastic look for Frankie Kazarian. Fantastic look. Delight says, didn't he have a match with Randy Orton sometime around Backlash? No, remember it was like a big old swerve. They didn't actually have a match. Something happened. I can't remember what it was, but it was a swerve. Flash says, great choice for Christian's debut. Kaz is one of the greatest. It was really good. Really, really good. Warrior says, Christian went longer than 5 minutes. He's already exceeded the expectations of an old part-timer, unlike someone we know. Yeah, I mean, I thought he did great. And I think that he needs to do more of this in AEW as well. You know, he's Christian Cage, right? Huge name. Huge signing for them. Technically, really, Christian does not need to do anything crazy. He doesn't need to seek out any titles. He's just here to prove that he still got it. So if he could put on a match every couple of weeks or whatever it is, get in a good feud with someone, I think he'll be just fine. Later down the road, of course, he can have that championship match against Kenny Omega, or he can have it against Darby Allin, or whoever will be the TNT champion at the time, or whatever it is. But right now, I think that Christian just needs to focus on being Christian and just focus on returning to the ring, because he wasn't supposed to return to the ring. Vance says, hey, Pete Dunne versus Kushida is booked for night 1 of TakeOver. Nice. So night 1 got even more stacked. Delay says, honestly, I'm going to watch Hardcore Justice. Screw WrestleMania. Braun versus Shane is going to ruin it. Oh, God. The exhale of doom. Damn it. I totally forgot that I have to sit through Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. You know, a steel cage match to keep people out of the steel cage, even though Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens just had a steel cage match to keep Jey Uso out of the ring, but Jey Uso still interfered, and Jey Uso still helped Roman Reigns win. The exhale of doom, yes, the... God. It's the best I can do with no face cam. It's the best I can do. I saw first says Kazarian for being 43 can go. Yeah, he's great. And he, like I said, this is the way that you book people. This is the way to make people look better. It's good. Chloe says we need these AEW quotes on a shirt. Oh God. Authors of Yawning and the Exhale of Doom. I am going to do a shirt pretty soon. I'll have people vote on it because I'm not sure which one I actually want to do. So I'll probably do like just a generic logo shirt, which will be fine, whatever. And the horror logo, the horror style logo that I have right now. But then I kind of want to make like a fake, not fake, but like a hype shirt, you know, kind of like the Supreme shirts with the big red bar. So the idea is to put, and this will be voted on to see what, if people would even want such a thing. Put a big red bar, and then in like white text or something, put disqualification with a space between each letter. Either that or hashtag must be Monday inside like the Supreme logo type thing, like a hype shirt. I haven't decided which one yet. And then I kind of, I don't know. So the person that I would be using to supply the t-shirts, they don't have anything crazy. But I would love to do a limited run of like Gold Flake if I could. Maybe Pro Wrestling Tees can do that. I think that I can open up a Pro Wrestling Tee shop. I have the following that they require to do so. So I don't know. Those are just my ideas. So red bar with disqualification in it. Red bar with hashtag must be Monday in it. One of those two. It can only be one. And then the logo, of course. As I work on a Keeper of Truths and a hashtag Detective AOW shirt as well. Because I want those ones to be like really cool. Really, really, really cool. I saw first as a slogan t-shirt. AOW taking wrestling to the moon. With a moon logo. That'd be great. James says, I have nothing to say. Have a good day. What do you mean? What do you mean, my friend? Chloe says, let's get an AOW Underground shirt with $69 million on the back. Oh, God. Oh, God. That'd be a funny one, too. AOW Underground with just, like, stacks of money next to it or something, and then just, like a Ric Flair. James says, bye. See you later, man. Hope you have a good rest of your day. It was nice chatting with you today. Nice chatting with you, my friend. Delay says, still waiting for a 69 Me Don shirt. Oh, man. GNM says, I'm still so pissed off about what happened to the Hurt Business. I know, man. Me too. And I can't believe how low Raw's ratings were this week. They only had 1.733 million viewers at the start. That's crazy. It's usually like 18 or 19, but almost like barely even hitting 17 is crazy. Low 17s. Yikes. 16 points or 1.673 million at the end. I heard someone say that this is the lowest viewership in a WrestleMania season ever. It was crazy. Vance says Gargano on commentary to Beth. Beth, you think you know me? Well, on this day, I'm North American champion. Oh, God. That is great. I didn't hear that because I usually have the sound off for NXT. Man, it's going to be so nice. It is going to be so nice to be able to just watch NXT and Dynamite. Amazing. I can't wait. Flash asks, will AEW Underground be sponsored by Cameron Grimes? It might. You know, Cameron Grimes, he's got that sweet cheddar. Maybe Cameron Grimes has that $69 million to take AEW Underground and take it to the moon. It's very possible. It is very possible. Alex says, did you see Batista's comments about breaking up the Hurt Business? I briefly saw it for like 2 seconds, but I didn't actually read it. Something about him not being happy about it. I just saw a T and Shaw logo on my screen, I think. I did. She tweeted, don't overestimate yourself. Like, retweet. Yes, T and Shaw, yes. Rapalos, how you doing, my friend? How are you doing? DNM says, I will never forgive WWE for breaking up the Hurt Business. Me either, man. Me either. Screw you, VKM. Screw you. How dare you? How dare you? Obi James says, the only thing we can do is pray to Father Rollins that this thing with the Hurt Business is just a swerve. I hope, man. I mean, they're fighting each other again this week. I don't know, but God, I hope so. Ale says, you think Raw will move to NBC for ratings since they're with Peacock now and Young Rock? No, they have contracts with USA Network and Fox for like the next 5 years. WWE's money is lined up for the next 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. All right. Rapallo says, doing good. Really liked AEW this week, and it only reminded me of how frustrated I am with WWE and more specifically Raw. Yeah, I mean, you know, thankfully we at least have these extra shows to cleanse our palates after watching such an atrocious show like Monday Night Raw. God bless. Sorry, Father Rollins bless Wednesday nights with NXT and Dynamite. But I guess I should change that up because Tuesday as well. Tuesday Dynamite, or Tuesday's NXT and Wednesday's Dynamite. Ale says, in 5 years, ? I doubt it. I don't see USA letting go of Raw or NXT. Raw's ratings may be scraping the bottom of the barrel for a company like WWE, but they are still usually the 1, 2, and 3 show on cable television for Monday nights. They outperform everyone. Alex says USA is owned by NBC, so there you go. There you go. They already own it then. But I don't see Monday Night Raw moving anywhere. Let me bring it up to see how far, because they're pretty dominant as well in their demo, which, if you remember, it's not about how many people are viewing the shows, it's about how high the demo rating is. So let's take a look. So yeah, Monday Night Raw crushes. The third hour of Raw was 0.58. The second hour was 0.56. The third hour was 0.53. The next up was the ranking number 4 is the Women's NCAA Basketball Championship game. They had a 0.41. So 12 points below Raw. Next up was Below Deck Sailing Yachts. I can't see the rest of the title. A show on Bravo, Below Deck. They had a 0.32, which is crazy. Next up was number 6 for Hannity. They had a 0.26. So Raw was essentially double number 6. That's how much higher their demo is. And Hannity had 2.8 million viewers. 2.8. Mauricio says, I wonder how NXT and AEW's ratings will increase after NXT moves to Tuesdays. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if they're able to capitalize off of it. NXT did well on Tuesdays when they were over there temporarily, so hopefully we'll see. I would expect to see both shows at least get 100 or 200,000 bump at least, maybe even more, considering that the shows are permanently going to be apart from each other now. I saw first says NBC Universal may pull movies from Netflix, HBO Max to boost Peacock. Oh God, I hate streaming wars, man. I hate streaming wars so much. Like, it's so dumb that we have to pay for like 30 different streaming services for all of this crap. It's crazy, man. Van says, who cares about moving? I want it to be better. I mean, more importantly than anything, that's what I want. I want to be able to sit here and watch NXT in peace. I want to sit here and be able to watch Dynamite in peace. I don't want to have to keep switching my sound between the two of them. I don't want to have to keep missing moments and all of this stuff. I certainly don't want to listen to people bitch about like, oh, you didn't catch this little 3-second clip from NXT. And it's like, dude, chill. I'm watching 2 shows at once, taking screenshots of them, editing them, posting them to not only Twitter but to Instagram as well, like writing captions. Like, it's like watching 2 shows is distracting enough, but like trying to work and do other things at the same time, it just adds another layer of complexity to it. So it's pure chaos. So I cannot wait until this is all done. I'm so excited for it. DNM says, when it's all said and done, Cody Rhodes is going to be one of the greatest baby faces in wrestling. Not if people can have it their way. Like, Cody Rhodes breathes and everyone hates him. Like, people are pissed off at him for having a TV show. Like, good Lord, man, it's crazy. I will never understand all the hate for Cody. I won't. I'll never understand it. Ale says, I think NXT will go up to 800K or 900K, and AEW will do 900K to $1 million. I could see, so it's going to be a little bit different probably on the first week. I would expect both shows to do very well on their first week or 2. It would be later down the line to see how things actually are affected and stuff like that. Because I saw someone was like, oh, AEW had 1.4 million on their first show, and now they're down to 800. And it's like, look, relax. That is how everything is. When anything is new, everyone flocks to it. It's just like a movie, right? A movie comes out. During the debut of the movie, the theater's packed. 3 weeks later, it's not so packed. It's just how like time goes. That's how everything is with everything. A debut of a new series, there's going to have a lot of viewers in it. They're going to be checking it out. It's a new show. They want to see if they like it. Some people are not. They're going to tune out. And there you go. After a couple weeks or so, you'll get your true viewership, which is where everyone is about right now. Anthony says, wait. Let's not forget about the Aleister Black question. Thoughts on him? I don't really feel like doing the gimmick tonight, unfortunately, because there kind of is an update about Aleister Black. There is a slight update about Aleister Black. He posted a picture in color and said that he's excited to tell us a story to our faces or something like that. So fingers crossed for Aleister Black to return after WrestleMania on Raw or SmackDown. I don't care which one it is. Hopefully he makes his return there. I really, really hope so. He's supposedly been training at the Performance Center as well. So hopefully it's time for Aleister Black to return. DNM says if NXT and the main roster can book him right, Kyle O'Reilly will be a top babyface. I agree. I completely agree. I saw first as a segment from the 90 edition of Monday Night Raw has been removed from WWE Network. The segment features members of D-Generation X mocking the Nation of Domination as per Peacock request. Yeah, I heard about that as well. I heard about that. That's not a subject for me to touch on. I understand why something like that was removed from that. If they're only going to be removing things like this, then I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's fine. I don't think anyone's going to be losing sleep because they can't see that segment anymore. But as long as they're not removing like full episodes, they're not removing feuds, they're not removing people, Chris Benoit needs to be featured in the WWE history books. It's just the way it is. You can't edit that stuff out of WWE. So I don't know. We'll see as it goes. But so far, I'm not really mad at any of the removals that they made. But I'm kind of salty. Like I'm kind of fearful when they say that they're reviewing every single hour of content. So we just kind of have to wait and see. We will just have to wait and see. Chris says that move by Statlander to Penelope was insane. It was. DNM says if Aleister Black is posting with color and no black and white, I believe it's a new gimmick. Black and white represents his dark side. Maybe color will show his upbeat side. Sure. I'm down for that. I'm down for anything. I just want to see Aleister Black on TV again. The guy's too talented to be sitting around doing nothing. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Matt says, what if they ban the special bikini from Sable? See, I think that would be too much. Like, they legit aired that. I mean, I guess they aired all of this on TV, really. But I don't think that's really, like, offensive to anyone. Just put a parental control behind it. And they should be fine. It's not really anything that's crazy offensive. It's not like, it doesn't have racial tones to it or anything like that. It's just boobs. So, I don't know. Obi James says they better not remove things like ECW One Night Stand, 05 and 06. People need to know. Yeah. If they start removing stuff like that, that's when I'll have a problem with it. Because you should not be removing stuff like that. And it's WWE. Like, what did you expect? Like, did you not know their history before you purchased? Or you agreed to purchase the streaming rights for this for the next 5 years? Did you not know about a thing called the Attitude Era? Did you not know that they tried to get away with as much as they possibly could back then? They tried to be offensive. They tried to do offensive things. Things were violent. Like, you weren't aware of this? You weren't aware of this? So put a thing on it. Put a parental control on it. If they can do it on Disney Plus, there's I don't remember them, but apparently there's some like racist kind of stuff going on in Dumbo and 2 or 3 other movies. And even Disney Plus didn't remove them. And Disney Plus is a streaming network for kids, I would say. And I guess adults, because they do have like the Star Wars stuff. But predominantly, I would say the Disney Plus is for children. And they didn't remove them. They put parental locks on them. So, like I said, not mad about Peacock or WWE Network removing racist things or stuff like that. But other things, you know, that aren't so crazy hot topics, don't remove those. Don't remove those. Just put parental controls on them. Flash says in Peter Pan, Dumbo, and other stuff. Oh, the other one was Peter Pan. Yeah, there was a couple of them. I couldn't remember. Could not remember. Okay, so let's carry on with this. Let's see. Next up, we had a very cool Darby Allin vignette here. He was walking down a bridge, carrying his TNT Championship, and Sting was with him as well. They went to the rail of the bridge and tossed over a huge sack of money and watched it just fall all the way down. After that, they did the creepy ass thing that Darby Allin does in his videos where he prints out people's faces, puts them over the top of his, and like cuts the eyes out and stuff like that. It was really, really cool to see. I love that they let Darby Allin do these, or they have him do these vignettes, these videos. They're so good, and like they're so unique, and they have like Darby Allin written all over them. So it's so unique, and I think it helps him so much as a character and stuff like that. So I love to see these. Big Money Matt and Darby Allin is kind of an odd feud that I didn't know that I was expecting to see, but when you kind of paint it as a picture of it being Matt Hardy versus a young version of Matt's brother, Jeff Jr., I guess you could say here, it gets pretty exciting. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm not mad at this at all. Ale says, I don't know why all WCW stuff isn't on Peacock if it was super clean back then. They're reviewing everything. And I think this deal was done last minute or finalized last minute, more so, I should say. I think that they rushed everything to get WrestleMania on Peacock as the first pay-per-view. Because, they probably could have launched it in the summer when everything would have been on it or something like that. But they were clearly rushing. I'm assuming Peacock said, look, we want WrestleMania. We want the exclusive streaming rights to WrestleMania. So I would assume that factored into all of this. And that's why the things are being done the way that they are. I saw first says Dudley Boy's promos in ECW were super offensive. With that being said, I can't see Peacock provide ECW content. Yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy ECW stuff, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to make it on the network at all. We'll see though. Chloe says, Big Money Matt, if you're watching this post show, donate that $69 million to AEW Underground. Yes, Big Money Matt, we need you. We need you. Look at this, could be you, Big Money Matt. This could be you donating $69 million US. It'd be crazy. It would be crazy and incredible. Flash says, I can't imagine the Peacock reviewing guy seeing all the New Jack stuff. Yeah, those poor people that have to sit there and watch all this content. Like, that's crazy, dude. Christopher says, who has been your favorite Hall of Fame induction so far? For this year? I don't know. Probably Kane. I don't know. Probably Kane. Alex says, but there are also shows with sex scenes on Peacock. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they do end up polling and don't end up polling. Hopefully it's, like I said, if it's only stuff like this, I have no problem with it. If they start getting a little out of control and they start pulling things that aren't crazy, then I see that as a problem. Matt says, question for the crowd. Best sweet tea and or unsweet tea? I think both of them have a time and a place. Both of them. Sometimes you just got to have that sweet tea. And then sometimes you just have to have that refreshing unsweet tea. I love tea. I saw first says Heatwave 99. Watch that promo by the Dudleys. It was insane. They don't give an F. I can't. My WWE network expired today. It's done. I don't have it anymore. It is all gone. I mean, I'm sure I could search it and find it, but I no longer have WWE network. Ale says AEW on HBO Max next. I hope so. That'd be cool. I would love. I have HBO Max, so anything that I don't have to pay for would be cool. I like that. I think I get HBO Max for free from AT&T for having cell phones there too. So it's like legit free. It's pretty cool. So next up we had an exhibition match, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean in AEW. It was Cody Rhodes taking on QT Marshall here with special guest referee Arn Anderson. This match, it was pretty much Cody playing games with QT. He got him set up for the figure four, but didn't actually lock it in. He didn't want to hurt him. Set him up for the crossroads, but didn't actually do it because he didn't want to hurt him. Ducked when he was doing a splash. He kind of, was mocking him. And QT lost it. He ended up punching Arn Anderson in the face. Mans was doing nothing. He was innocent as hell. Just punches him right in the face, though. We've seen this for a while now. I believe it's been going on Dark and Elevation, where QT has been kind of on the edge of being a heel and kind of on the edge of even being with the Nightmare family as well. Like he's been kind of butting heads with all of them. We saw that he screwed someone in a match. I want to say it was Dustin Rhodes that he screwed in the match. So it's been teased for a while, so it's not crazy to see this happen, this turn. But what was crazy was afterwards, like they beat the hell out of them. Of course, Dustin Rhodes was gushing. He was gushing blood all over the place. Of course, naturally. That's what Dustin Rhodes does. They lifted up their steel steps, put them on the stage here, and QT Marshall here picked up Dustin Rhodes and dropped him on his head with a pile driver. Man's gushing blood everywhere. And that wasn't it. That was not it. He had them pick up Cody. They attacked Cody, and Anthony Ogogo was like punching him in the gut and everything as well. They beat the hell out of them. It looked like QT Marshall was about to smash Cody's head on the steel steps with a steel chair, but Red Velvet ended up coming out and talking him down from it and saving the day. So now we have Nightmare Family versus Nightmare Family here as well. Or I believe the better way to put it, someone said in chat, is that it's the Nightmare Family versus the Nightmare Factory. So you have Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, Red Velvet, Lee Johnson here. On the other side, you have QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, right? Solo, I believe, was Anthony Ogogo, and I can't remember the big Jack dude's name. I can't remember his name. But yeah, so you have them splitting sides as well. So another faction feud in AEW. They love them. They love them. Chloe says, still got my WWE network. Yeah, mine did not renew. Any Horseman says Nick Camarado. Yes, that's the name I was looking for. Yes, that guy looks crazy. He's huge. Delight says, have you heard of Jobber Nation TV? He's the biggest Fed mark I've ever seen. I have not. No, I don't necessarily pay attention to what other people are doing online. There's just no reason for it. I don't mind having conversations with people, but I don't necessarily like seek out what other people say about TV shows. I don't care. I don't care if someone is like the ultimate WWE fanboy. Like, good for them. That's cool. I'm glad that they enjoy the shows. Alex says, which is worse, AEW brawls to end shows or the number of its factions? I don't mind the number of the factions. The brawls drive me nuts, though. The brawls drive me absolutely insane. But I think factions are perfectly normal. I think that maybe they're overstepping. Maybe they do have too many, but I don't know what the actual number is, but it makes sense to me. Having factions has always made sense to me. It's like I said it with my analogy was tying it to being in school. Like, I had a very large high school. There was a lot of kids in my class, and not only my class, but the rest of the high school as well. And not every single person was solo. You had tons of, if you will, groups or factions across all of them. So it completely makes sense that people would bond this way and form relationships, friendships, whatever it is. It makes sense to me. The Indie Horseman says, isn't New Japan all about factions? I think that's what they're going for. Yes, pretty much. DMM says AEW is having a lot of factions. It's honestly too much, but let's see how this goes. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this one's gonna play out. I'm not sure. I'm down for it. I'm interested. You know, this is probably a really good way to put these newer guys on TV. Have them be a part of an interesting story with familiar faces. People are pretty familiar with QT Marshall now in AEW, and obviously Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes as well. So you can have those other guys in here as well in these matches and maybe get their name out here and showcase them. I would assume that's what this is for. I would assume that's what this is for. Ale says factions are normal everywhere in sports life, everywhere. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them, but it makes sense to me. Rapallo says, if there's anything to critique AEW for me, it's that they need to cool it with the betrayals, backstabs, heel turns, because it feels like there's a new one every week. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, they're telling stories. The thing that I like about AEW the most is that literally almost everything, and actually maybe even everything, is literally story driven. There is a story behind every single match that happens. There is a story behind every single promo that happens. Like, everything is so story driven. Whereas if you compare to a Monday Night Raw, it's not at all. Like, none of it's story driven. It's, how do I find a challenger today because I need them for Sunday? Oh crap, we still haven't figured anything out, so I'm just gonna run these back. Like, I love that AEW is so heavily focused on story, and I really like that the stories spill over to BTE. Now what they really need to do is they need to make people like me care enough to watch Dark and Dark Elevation. I watched Dark Elevation. I watched the first one. I covered it. It was okay. It was good, but it still is what it is. It's still pretty much dark. Like, it's still the same thing. There's a lot of matches in it. It's very fast. So, like, while I was watching it and trying to do things, by the time I would take a screenshot and write a post, like, there was another match that was almost like ending as well. So I don't know. They need to figure out something to do to make these other shows more important. I think that's one of their big things, one of their big faults at the moment, is that Dark and Dark Elevation are just so forgettable for your AEW casual. For the guy that doesn't want to tune in and sit there through 13 matches in an hour. So hopefully they're able to shift those in a new direction and make Dark Elevation and Dark like must see. You know, I know they had John Moxley on one. Kenny Omega was on the one that I watched, but that alone isn't enough to get people to watch the entire thing or to even just get people to watch in general. I mean, look at Impact right now. Impact is not doing well in their ratings, and they've had Kenny Omega on the last 2 episodes. So they really need to focus on making people care. That's what I would say. Chloe says, AEW, if you and your high school friends were in a faction, which faction would you relate to more? Probably Inner Circle, if I had to guess. DNM says, AEW, I was on the basketball team of my high school. I was even the defensive player of the year despite being under 6 feet. Hashtag small is mighty. That's right, man. That's right. Don't let everyone tell you you're too small. Ale says, no one like QT, the balding AEW wrestler training, giving airtime to Janela or Paige. I mean, I don't mind QT Marshall getting airtime. I don't mind. He's good. And this is the whole thing about rotating a roster in and out. You don't want to see the same people every single week on TV, because then you're going to find faults. They're not able to continue to do things weekly with other people. Imagine if someone like Miro, for instance, was on your TV every single week. More so in like a match, heavily featured every single week. You have to find something for these people to do. So if you can stretch their appearances out and you can rotate appearances through people, Pinnacle isn't wrestling every single week. The Inner Circle isn't wrestling every single week. You tie them in. They featured Pinnacle for this week. We briefly saw them. And we saw them battle with the Inner Circle. And now they're advertising the Inner Circle for next week. So it's always good to rotate your talent out, especially for AEW right now when they have a ton of people on their roster and not a lot of championships and other things for them to do. So everything has to be story driven. It's a lot of work. Obi James says, factions are fine, but there is a lot of faction in AEW. There are. I would love to get a count and see. Be pretty interesting. Rapallo says, for the betrayal thing is more of a nitpick than the outright criticism. I can get why they did it, but it does feel like it could oversaturate the show. Yeah, I could see. The way that I look at it is them trying to introduce these other people to their audience as quickly as possible. That's how I put it. That's how I am doing this Nightmare Family versus Nightmare Factory feud here. I think this is a great way to get eyes on those other people and have familiar faces. The AEW audience is familiar with QT Marshall at this point. They're familiar with Cody, of course. They're familiar with Dustin Rhodes, of course. So putting those guys all in there and having them feud together, I think is perfect. I think it'll work great. We'll see though. Shelvis says, I'm late. Just got done with both shows. Both shows got 2 thumbs up from me. Good stuff from both companies. I agree. I thought both shows were great tonight. Both of them delivered. Indie Horseman says also, can we talk about how they teased heel QT on Sammy's vlogs and PT before making him a heel on TV? Really enjoyed that idea. I need to watch more of Sammy's vlogs. I know I need to do that. But yeah, I like how they're mixing things in with BT and all of that stuff. I like it. They even did on this BTE, they did the stuff with Matt and Hangman, you know, like the reverse of Hangman being sad, looking in on them celebrating. Matt was looking in sad, seeing Hangman, Adam Page, and the Dark Order celebrating. So you saw that. The beginning of the show was Matt Jackson kind of questioning where he's at because of what Don Callis said to him. So I really like them just adding those things into BTE. It's fun to see. Basilius says maybe they can do a house show or pay-per-view of all the factions in AEW face off and have New Japan invade AEW and start the Bullet Club versus Elite Bullet Club. I could see something like that. I think a faction war would be pretty cool as well. Something like who did it? Chris Danker, I think Dankops did a YouTube series like a faction wars where people would win certain points for their faction for certain match types and stuff like that. And it was all point based. It was a pretty cool idea. They could definitely do something like that here and, you know, have people have matches, win them, get points for their factions, and do something cool for the winning factions. Like they could all get a title shot, or they could do a blood and guts between the top 2 or something like that. Whatever it is, that'd be pretty cool. Leroy says, if me and my friends from high school were a faction, would be the Undisputed Era. Nice. Very nice. DNM says, I know this is a wrestling channel, but what are your favorite basketball players? Mine are Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and LeBron James. I'm not really a big basketball person. I've never really been. I mean, I used to play the games a lot back in the day and stuff, but I was never like huge on basketball. But I did love Allen Iverson and oh God, I'm trying to remember the names from the people on the Detroit Pistons that I used to play as. Oh, a Wallace. Was it Rasheed Wallace maybe? And the guy with the big fro. Those are my dudes. And Chancey Billups. Those are my dudes on the Pistons. Shelby says, did you give your opinion on the Inner Circle Brawl yet? No, we are just about there though. Just about there. Matt says, me and my friends would be the Blue World Order. Perfect. Perfect. So after this ultimate betrayal here of the Nightmare family, we saw a very cool video here. I talked about this at the opening of the show, but Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky appear to be forming a tag team. This was really cool. They had one side of their face complete darkness and the other side of their face was showing, and they were like queuing in and out between a promo between the two of them, talking about being the face of the revolution and all this stuff like that. And then it goes to show both of them, and then Scorpio Sky snaps and the lights turn out. Very cool. I'm excited for this. I'm a big fan of Ethan Page. You guys know that. I'm a big fan of Scorpio Sky. Big fan. So this will be, I'm very interested in seeing where this goes for sure. Happy about this. DNM says Ben Wallace and Chancey Billups. Yes. Yes. Those were my dudes back in the day when I would play the games. And Allen Iverson, of course, for the Sixers. Flesh says, I definitely would be like the Dark Order with my dudes in high school. Okay. Now that's a group of people right there. Philip, how you doing, my friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Next up, we had Jon Moxley taking on Cezar Bononi. This man's just lights out. Lights out for this man. I was afraid. I was very afraid here. When Uncle Ryan and whoever, JD Drake, when they intervened in this match, I was like, don't you dare, AEW. Don't you dare. Don't you dare have him roll up Jon Moxley and win. Don't you dare have him cheat now and have him beat Jon Moxley. You better not do it. You better not. Thank God they didn't. Thank God. I would have been so pissed. Jon Moxley choked out Cezar Bononi and lights out for him. Nice quick match. Next up was the Pinnacle's backstage segment type deal that they had going on. It was MJF rewarding everyone, saying that he had a present for them. And it was like a suit designer or something like that. And then they also said that he had hired an interior designer as well to get rid of the stench in the bathroom and give their dressing room a makeover. MJF opens the door to the bathroom and the entire inner circle, I'm wrong. Most of the inner circle is inside the bathroom, ready to whoop some ass. He closes the door quickly and said, all right, time to go. We need to get out of here. He goes to open the other door and Jake Hager is standing there. And that is when this massive brawl began between the inner circle and Pinnacle. This was a brawl that I am all here for. The inner circle whooped Pinnacle's ass backstage. It was crazy. Jake Hager put Wardlow through a massage table. Cash Wheeler was thrown into an ice bath. Dax Harwood was beat over the head with a chair, something like that, and was bleeding literally everywhere. And Chris Jericho gave MJF a swirly in the toilet and then threw his head through the soda cooler, the refrigerator machine thing that they had in their locker room. This was insane. The inner circle looked better than they've ever looked before in this segment. They looked so good. Santana had blood all over his hand. Santana had blood all over his wife beater and everything, his tank top. It looked incredible. The visual was so good. After Chris Jericho beat the hell out of MJF, he picked up a little bit of the bubbly, drank some of it, and then poured it over the back of MJF. Very good. The hype for blood and guts is real here. Very, very real here. I'm very excited. I want to see this as soon as possible, and I definitely think that this needs to be this match. If it's not going to be its own pay-per-view, it needs to be on a pay-per-view where there's fans in attendance. Hands down. So hopefully there's enough time before it can't be Double or Nothing. There's not going to be that many fans there, and I can't see them doing it at Daly's place. Maybe they could do it on the field or something. I don't know. But man, I am so excited to see a blood and guts match. So excited. The Inner Circle versus Pinnacle will be so good. So good. Obi James says, my friends kind of have the humor of Miz and Morrison. Oh no. Oh god. Any Horseman says, my friend group was a faction. We were more like Retribution. Oh no. Oh god. Jared says, hey, it has more hype than WrestleMania. Pretty much, man. Any Horseman says, no, please do be at Double or Nothing. I'm going, so I want to see it. Man, I'm too salty. All right, my Double or Nothing tickets got refunded because we had the tickets for Vegas, so I'm still salty about it. I hate Double or Nothing now. I'm still mad. I'm gonna be forever mad about that. Next up, we had an incredible 6-man match. It was AEW World Champion and AAA whatever World Champion Kenny Omega teaming up with the Good Brothers to take on Penta, Rey Fenix and Laredo Kid. This match kicked ass. It kicked all of the ass. It was so good. These guys are so talented, man. Like, Rey Fenix, I love Rey Fenix. He's so good. Rey Fenix kicks all of the ass. Like, he's been a standout star in AEW so far. Like, he's overexceeded in every single thing that he's been in. He's performed so well. He does crazy shit all of the time. Like, I love it. I love it. Very high on Rey Fenix right now. Chloe says asses were kicked during this match. 100%. There was a lot of good spots in this match. The spot where Rey Fenix like literally was not on camera and just ran across the ropes and kicked someone in the head, I think it was Kenny, was crazy. And then they had that segment. I can't remember exactly what happened first. I want to see that Rey Fenix did that thing where he gets thrown into the ropes and he catches them and swings back in and kicks someone. And I think he did that, kicked Kenny in the head. He rotated around and Penta did a Canadian Destroyer on him, all in like one sweep. It was so good. It was so good. I cannot praise this match enough. This trio stuff has been so good. And I bet you their match next week against the Young Bucks and Jon Moxley is going to be incredible as well. Absolutely incredible. Matt says, is Pac okay? I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with Pac at the moment. I'll have to look and figure it out and post about it. Delight says, use the money to go to Blood and Guts. Well, the problem is that there's no direct flights from Portland to Jacksonville. So it would take us like an entire day to get down there. And I just don't know if I want to do such a thing. And yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Flash says Laredo Kid is extraordinary. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his deal is currently, if he's signed somewhere or whatever it is. I would love to see Laredo Kid in AEW. I would love to see Death Square, to be honest. He should join them. He should join them. That would be incredible, man. Put La Sombra in there too. Oh, man. What a perfect like lucha group. Incredible. Chloe says road trip. Hell no. There is no way I would do that. I drove down to from Portland, Oregon to Monterey, California. It was the worst trip of my life. It was terrible. And it was like 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, something around that. I don't ever want to do it again. It was the worst. Like, I certainly would rather fly. We flew the next time we went, and it took like 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was. Like, no way. Not doing that again. Anyways, of course, here, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers get the win. I can't remember who got pinned here, so I can't tell you that. But fantastic match overall. I thought it was great. Of course, after the match, Jon Moxley came out and the Young Bucks came out as well, and there was a standoff here. This is where, like, I was really expecting after that segment where we had Don Callis talking down to Matt Jackson and all of that. I was really expecting to see them turn heel here. I was expecting it. I was expecting a super kick party to the dome of Moxley, but it makes sense that it didn't happen. It makes sense that it didn't happen as well. So now we can have this match. We're going to see it next week. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers taking on Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks. I could see the turn happening here. This is where I could see the turn happening. After the match, during the match, I don't know, but I would expect to see the Young Bucks turn on Jon Moxley, super kick him in the head, and then finally unite with Kenny and the Good Brothers as one. That's what I'm expecting to see. And that's what I want to see, honestly. I want to see them all together. This is the perfect opportunity. Everyone is here now. It's time to do what you have to do and put them all together. For too long, in WWE, we had AJ Styles, we had the Good Brothers and Finn Balor, and they never put them all together. Good Brothers were with AJ, Good Brothers were with Finn or whatever. They were never all together. So Let's get it out of the way. Let's put the Bucks and then back together. I would love to see it. Basili says AEW kind of like the Dudley Boys heel turn in 2004 when Paul Heyman gets them to swerve RVD. I don't necessarily remember that off the top of my head. Delight says, nah, the Good Brothers are going to take the AEW tag titles. That would be interesting. I wouldn't be mad at that either, actually, if I'm being honest. It would be good for Impact. You could have them go over there with the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I'm trying to figure out which one I like more. I guess it depends on when all of this New Japan stuff is going to go down. Because I'm assuming it's going to go down at some point. I'm assuming that the Bullet Club is going to arrive in AEW at some point. And there's going to be a battle between the Elite and the Bullet Club. So, hell, maybe if the Good Brothers want to take the AEW Tag Team Championships off of the Bucks for a while, have a short little stint as them, have them bring them over to Impact and all that stuff, I could see that being good. And I definitely think that would help Impact, so they wouldn't always be getting the shit end of the stick of the deal. I wouldn't mind seeing that. So yeah, I'm fine with either one of those. DNM says, anyways, bro, it's late for me. I got a college to do. Take care. Thank you for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night. Philip says, I'm not spamming today. Thank you. I appreciate that. And at the end of the show, if you're still here, chat will say yes or no if you get your picture. We'll let the chat decide. Next up, we had a match here with the Bunny and Nyla Rose taking on Ty Conti and Hikaru Shida. I like this match. I thought that this match was great. I'm not happy at the ending, the outcome. So Ty Conti got distracted by Vicky Guerrero. While that was happening, the Bunny grabbed Hikaru Shida's kendo stick, hit Ty Conti with it, and then pinned her for 1, 2, 3. It's not the end of the world because it's not something that AEW does constantly. But it's just, I'm never a fan of stuff like this for the most part. It does fit kind of what they're doing with Matt Hardy and all that stuff. So, like I said, not the end of the world. It'll be fine. It was not Hikaru Shida, the one that was pinned. It was Ty Conti. So, also not the end of the world. Ty Conti is the number one contender for Hikaru Shida's AEW Women's World Championship, if I remember that correctly. So, next week we have a match between Ty Conti and the Bunnies, so I'm sure she'll probably beat her ass in that match to get her revenge. Matt says Mox, Eddie, and Minoru as a faction. That'd be crazy. That's one hell of a faction right there. Delight says the Elite versus Bullet Club is going to be blood and guts. I'm totally down. Totally down for that. Although Inner Circle and Pinnacle would be a fantastic blood and guts match too. It would be really good. Flash says, I'm not bad seeing that Bunny is a threat for Hikaru, but I feel that Nyla is unnecessarily in that story. Yeah, I would agree with that. Next up, we had the Arcade Anarchy match. I know a lot of people were so ready to shit on this match, and I kind of was too. I wasn't really sure what to expect from an Arcade Anarchy match. It turned out to be very good, though. Very good. I did not want to see Miro and Kip Sabian take on Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy again. I did not want to see that. I thought that this feud should have been over at the pay-per-view or whatever. It should have been a wrap. We should have been done. We should have been moving on to something else. They delivered. AEW was AEWing tonight, and they delivered one hell of a match. Arcade Anarchy ruled. It was great. And we didn't just get one return. We got 2 returns. You love to see it. Miro looked like an absolute badass the entire time. They were talking up Miro the entire time, saying that Miro was undefeated in AEW so far, so it only made sense that they were going to be losing this match, and Kip Sabian was going to be the one to cost them that. So what happened as a great point here in the match was they had it won. Best Friends had this one. Penelope pulled the ref out of the ring to stop the count, and when she went to go beat up, I think it was Orange Cassidy, some more, they walked by a stuffed animal vending machine, and Chris Statlander popped up from underneath the stuffed animals. So they were staring each other down, Penelope Ford and Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander pops out the plexiglass and literally launches it into Penelope Ford's face and like launches her back. This was so cool. I thought that she was still months out from her return. So very happy to see Chris Statlander back on AEW TV. This was so exciting, and it's cool to put her with Orange Cassidy on TV and Best Friends, I guess. We have seen her and Cassidy on BTE kind of being like these weird people that have like crushes on each other, but they're so awkward that they don't ever really pull the trigger because he is Orange Cassidy and she's an alien. So I like this a lot. Super happy to see this. She puts her through a hockey table afterwards as well, which is crazy. And then another brawl is going down, and you see the iconic white van pull up as well. Sue is here. And who's in the back seat? Trent. So she pulls up, he gets out, she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then he reunites with Best Friends, and they go whoop some more ass down by the ring. How could you not love this? It was so good. It was so good. And it was like only like 15 minutes long, I think, somewhere around there. So good. So, of course, I believe what happened at the end, if I remember correctly here, Chuck Taylor launched himself and Kip Sabian off of the stage through a portion of the stage and was able to get the win from that point. So Kip Sabian is the one that took the L. Miro is going to be pissed, livid. So Best Friends get in the ring. You get the iconic Best Friends hug with the zoom out. Then Chris Statlander comes in the ring as well. So now you get an even more iconic hug with all four of them with a zoom out as well. I love the four of them together. I love it. Anthony says yes. It is
Such good shit.
That is right. So good, man. So good. I love it. And now this sets up Miro as well. He suffered his first loss in AEW, and he's going to be pissed about it. And of course, he's going to take it out on Kip Sabian because it is his fault. So hopefully him and Kip just have one match. They don't have a lengthy feud. I would have Miro just squash him. In my opinion, I think that's fitting for what it is. And the caliber of talent that Miro is as well. I think that fits just fine. And that was the close of the show. That was the end of the show. I thought it was a fantastic show from start to finish this week. And to be honest, both shows really delivered. I thought NXT was great as well from most of the stuff that I saw in it. It was great. I had a great time tonight. Wednesday Night Wrestling is the night to be a wrestling fan, is the night to tune in. And next week is the last night of the Wednesday Night Wars. It's over next week. To be fair, it's kind of over this week. NXT is running a pay-per-view, like a legit pay-per-view on TV next week. It's not a gimmick show or anything like that. It's a legit pay-per-view. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 is on Wednesday. And AEW they're not really countering it, but they do have a good show. Next week, it is Jon Moxley teaming up with the Young Bucks to take on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. The Bunny takes on Ty Conti. Darby Allin defends his TNT Championship against JD Drake. The Inner Circle returns, and Jurassic Express will take on Bear Country. That is AEW's card. Pretty good. Anthony says, when will you do an NXT TakeOver predictions video? I'll probably record it over the next couple of days and probably release it on Tuesday. Maybe even a little earlier. Maybe on Sunday or Monday I'll release it or something. I want to get the predictions videos out a little bit earlier if possible, instead of just the day before, because I feel like more people would watch them over the span of the days, instead of just doing it right before. But I typically I like to wait for the day before so that I can know that all the matches are filled out and nothing's going to change. So I'll have a very solid prediction list. But I might start doing them earlier. So another match got made, or I've been told at least, that Pete Dunne versus Kushida was made for night 1 as well. So I'll have to add that to my list. Delight says that has a Pinnacle beatdown written all over it. Yep, probably will. But anyways, that is going to do it for me tonight, guys. It's been almost 2 hours and 10 minutes. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. I really appreciate it. It has been a pleasure hanging out, and next week is going to be crazy. Next week is going to be absolutely crazy. I hope you guys are ready. There's going to be a lot of content to consume. There's going to be a lot of things to talk about next week. So I'll be here on Friday for the SmackDown post show, and then we'll get to work. Get to work for NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania, and all that good stuff that is going down here. Philip is here. All right, chat, you decide. Philip, what picture do you want to see tonight? What picture do you want to see tonight? Before we go, this will be the new ritual. Just gotta wait to see what kind of picture Philip wants to see. Matt says, thank you one and all. Peace out, y'all. Thank you, Matt, for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. The Nexus picture. You want a Nexus picture? All right. I'll give you a Nexus picture. Okay. Nope, not a chair. Let's see here. Let me find, let's go with this classic. It's a classic. You'll love this one, Philip. You'll love this, okay? Image, Nexus. A small little guy. All right, there you go, man. Big picture of the Nexus here for Philip for not spamming tonight. We appreciate you, my friend. The ultimate heel. Delight says, yes, sir. A week of wrestling. Oh, also some dumb thing in a crab trap. I don't know. What? Yeah. Here is your picture of the Nexus. Like I said, that's going to do it for me. I will be here on Friday for the SmackDown post show, and I hope to see you guys there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Friday. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.